Hi everyone, it's Beverly Cole and we're going to work on some digital cards today. This is from my Rose Heart set, and the add-on actually is the different colored roses. The originals are red and pink and black and white. And the background papers are from my Retro Fun paper pack. Now I've layered these in my word processor program and I am printed them out and now I'm cutting them apart. I made the 2 extra roses to layer onto the card fronts. And you'll see how I do that as we go along. The reason I layer them is to give them dimension, but also to keep them crisp as I add different processes, why can't I think of the word, to their surfaces. So here I'm cutting them out, the cards front, and we're going to work on this one first. Now the image with the stem, hand-drawn, love you, that is all one image, although you can see by the others that the images are separate as well in the set. Makes it easy for you. I'm going to fussy cut out my purple rose heart. Cutting is one of my Zen kind of things I do. When I used to teach preschool, I loved cutting things out for the kids. Of course, I'd be doing it at home because, well, all teachers end up working at home. We run out of time. Run out of time at school. You know, you're kind of busy. So I would take things home and work on them. So I'm cutting this rose heart out. And it's pretty easy to do. And as usual, I'm keeping my eyes on the white part of the paper so that I don't cut the black off. If you keep your eye on the black line, tendency is to cut it in half. So cutting is my thing. I'm sorry if you don't like to cut. One of my aims is to eventually have some cut files. If I can get my act together. It's a learning curve, just like everything is. But there's nothing like accomplishing a new thing. And I hope this is a new thing for you to a certain extent so that you are learning something. Now the first thing I'm going to do is blacken the edges of my cutout so that we don't see any white lines around the edges. So I'm going to use some Distress Oxide because it's handy. My regular Distress ink and my other ink pads are all in a drawer. This one is just in an antique box on top of my antique shelves and drawers. I have found some neat things in the trash. It's amazing what people throw away. I've got some library drawers and I just love them. Okay, I probably could have skipped that last step since I went ahead and put the black on the front as well. And using a handy wipe, just wipe that ink right off my glass mat. That's a dry cloth, just to keep it from, you know, transferring to everything that I'm working on. And that's where the flower will go. Perfect sizing. I show how to do that in the last video that I made, so be sure to check out the video on how to work with digital stamps. Now some layering of 2 pieces of dimensional, because I want to do this really cool technique that I learned from one of the girls on my design team, Allie Sheridan. When you pop up the middle, it's kind of like a pillow. She makes things look pillowy by tacking down just around the edges of the image. So this is my first attempt, so I'm going to look a little clumsy doing this. That looks nice, but this effect is just so cool. I just take little pieces of double-sided tape and tack them underneath the flower around the edges. And my first time doing it, look at this, there's got to be an easier way. Maybe I should have put it on the flower first. So I'm peeling off the paper and now press and look. So I put 3 of these little pieces of tape around the flower and it looks like a puffy flower pillow. I just love the look. So cool. I guess it's good that I have nails right now, even though they look terrible. I need a manicure. But I give them to myself, so I do let my nail polish get pretty rough looking before I get around to fixing it. Okay. I got better things to do than a manicure, right? This is so much more fun. Okay, so now we got the puffy little flower. Look, it's only been about a 5-minute card so far, and this is perfectly fine just the way it is. But being Beverly Cole, I can't leave it the way it is. So I'm going to use some quickie glue, and I was originally going to add some glitter. I'm going to add the quickie glue to the darker shaded areas of my stamp image. And I'm choosing some glitter, which I end up not using. And of course, you know I worked for Sparkle and Sprinkle, so I have many colors of glitter and embossing powder. And I'm sure you do too if you were a customer. There's just so many colors, it's hard to choose. And now I'm filling in that darker area with the quickie glue pen, which is a two-way pen, meaning it dries tacky. Just a quick little job here, adding it around all the darker areas. You don't want to overdo it. You know, you just want a subtle bit of glitter. And then I decided even a subtle bit of glitter was a little too much for this busy background. Okay. And now this is where I go, I don't know. Do I really want to use that glitter on this busy card? I mean, the older I get, the more I love glitter and shiny things and roses. But it's even too much for me. So I changed my mind and went for some beautiful embossing powder. And because it's a 3D image, I really don't have to worry about it sticking to other parts of the card. Tapped it off, and now it's just ready to be heat embossed, and you can see that's enough. That's enough as far as I'm concerned. Maybe you would like glitter. I just don't happen to want glitter on this card, okay? Maybe we'll use glitter on the next card. How's that? So now just heat embossing this, which doesn't take much time at all. Just a little heat. Okay. How pretty is that? Yeah, pretty. Done, right? No, I don't think so. Now to go with our puffy rose, I'm going to add some ribbon. And I have a stash of ribbon that I've had for years. Went to the Offray ribbon outlet. Oh my gosh, had to be, probably 20 years ago. If that's possible, maybe even more than that. And I have ribbon still. I don't know if they still have that place, but that was awesome. I mean, the spool that this is on is wood. It's a wooden spool. It's beautiful. I'm going to keep the spool when it's empty. I'll find something to use it for. Now I'll make my bow with my two puffy little folds, and I want to make this ribbon look like it's blowing across the card to the left. Notice that there's more space on the left side of the rose heart than there is on the right side, which makes the card more interesting. If it went right down the middle, it'd be a little bit boring. It's always good to be a little off center. Sometimes you might want to have a card that's perfectly the same on each side. I just do not this time. Now using Fabrifix, I used to use glue dots with ribbon like this, but now I use Fabrifix, which is made for fabric, but also just because it doesn't have any water in it, it's great for paper projects like journals. no paper rippling. Now this is an older bottle and it's starting to get thick, and all you have to do to thin it out is add a few drops of nail polish remover with acetone, because acetone is the base of this glue. So just add a couple drops and shake it up and your glue will be thinned out. It's awesome. Just add a couple drops at a time. Okay, so I'm just going to make some more little gooey spots and fold up my ribbon into little mountains. For some of you, this is a little bit of a review. I just love this look. I love the look of the ribbon blowing. I did it once on a card that looked like a blouse. And it's just so cute. A little sticky, but worth it. It's going to hold that ribbon. You don't have to worry about that ribbon falling off. And it dries very quickly. So you hold it in place and eventually it will stay where you want it. There you go. There you go. And we'll just trim the edges off. Sometimes I like to make that little V cut, but not this time. Purple, purple, purple. Don't we all love purple? I think almost every woman I know loves purple. Although, surprisingly, my sisters and I all love yellow. I never wear yellow, though, because I have silver hair, and the yellow color right near my face kind of makes my hair look green. People kind of look at me like, what are you talking about? But I think it does. It just gives it this weird color. So, although I love yellow, I hardly ever wear it. But I think it's the color of sunshine. But back to our ribbon. So see how I'm going in and out with the heat tool, and it melts the ribbon, and not only does it get curly and look a little vintagey, it also helps the ribbon stay in place and looks very feminine. Now this is the background for the card because I'm not done. Here I'm showing you my original jelly plate print, which I scanned into my computer and shrunk down. And I'm going to use it for a frame for this card. I'm roughing up the edges, distressing them with a pair of scissors. You can also use one of those special tools, and I have one, but for some reason it's just easier to grab my scissors. They pretty much do the same thing. And I love these scissors. These are my close to my heart scissors, and they're non-stick. I don't know if they still make them, but these are the only scissors I have that are actually non-stick. I have some that are supposed to be a non-stick, but they're not. These are. They're awesome. Okay, so that's the edge. Now, cut the background out. Now when you make a jelly plate print on a jelly plate, you get some really cool edges where the paint peels up off the jelly plate. And I don't want to cut those edges off because I think they're awesome. This will eventually be a paper pack for you to download. Probably some of them will have other things added to them as a collage, but I'm really having fun with my new designs and papers. Just a lot of fun experimenting and then sharing them with you. See how you see the background? It's so cool. We're going to cover most of it up, but it is going to give us that vintage looking worn edge. And then again, could have been left just the way it is, but of course I have to add more ink. I like it that way too. If I could only learn to stop. Right? Did you ever have that problem? Now some more black around the edges. And at the corners I like it to be heavier. I just like the look. Yeah, love that. And you can swap the colors out for the backgrounds and the other retro papers. There's so many colors, and the roses come in so many colors. And they also come black and white, so you can color them yourself and make a variety of cards, all with the same method and same stamps. Easy peasy, really quick Valentine cards or Mother's Day or friendship cards, or just, card for your hubby, card for your wife. Beautiful. Okay, more ink, because I have to carry it through. If I do it on one layer, I tend to always want to do it on the other layer as well. So it's kind of more finished looking. More consistent. Sometimes we get carried away on one piece and then the other one's not done as much and it just doesn't look right. So I like to carry through. And now, because my card was a little wider than it should have been, I decided to add a little bit of mirror cardstock. So I'm adding some of that double-sided tape to the back of my focal point, and then I'm going to add the mirror cardstock on the sides. I tend to add the tape to the piece that's more stable. Easier to match that than to put the tape on the little piece. At least that's how it works best for me. It might work differently for you. Whoop, make sure your tape is really attached so you don't peel off all the adhesive too. Okay, now watch as I just line this up. There we go. It's just a tiny bit, but it adds so much to the card. Really makes it look finished. And I am finished. There it is. This card could have looked good at so many different points. Sometimes less is more, depending on your mood, depending on who you are. We're all different. Things come through our minds differently, which makes it so exciting for my design team to see what they do with my stamps and papers. I get to look at their stuff and I'm like, what? That is amazing. Wow, I wish I thought of that. Yeah, they blow me away. So, there we go. And here's the finished card. Now we'll move on to the next one. This one's called Sweet Friend. And again, the background paper is from the same paper pack, the Retro Fun paper pack. And I'm going to leave some of the white on this one, where we're going to add some more tape and glitter. Yep, we're going to use glitter. So I'm adding the tape because tape, like I said, is good for attaching glitter. You need a sticky surface. You can't use Versamark. You can't use that, or regular glue, because the regular glue will dry and will be tacky. So here we are using very tacky tape, which is awesome. And I'm cutting it off. And you can see I'm going to need to trim that other side. And I'm also going to trim away some of the cardstock because it's a bit wider than the tape, and I want the glitter to go to the edge. Right now it wouldn't, because you can see there's a little space there. So that's easy to fix. You can cut through that tape, and it cuts quite easily. It doesn't get all gummy on your paper trimmer, and I don't have a special paper trimmer. I just have this same one that I've had the blade be placed on about 10 times before they finally fixed the wire that kept breaking, but they replaced it for free. Okay, that was just a little information for you. Fisker stuff is guaranteed for life. Okay, so here is some beautiful glitter, and I don't remember the name of it, but it has gold and red and greens and oranges, and it's really very, very, very pretty. Use my glitter brush to brush off the edge after I burnish it. When you burnish it, rub it in with your finger, and then you brush it off. It's not going to leave glitter everywhere. Then I tore off that piece of paper on the tape and did the same thing on this side. There we go. Glitter. Now again, cutting out my extra rows. Now this one I decided I wanted it to be shiny. But first I have to do my ink thing, so I don't have white edges. I just have a thing about white edges. Just don't like to see the white where I cut. I don't know if it would make a big difference, but it makes a difference to me. And now, using some Versamark, I have this tiny Versamark ink pad that I got once when I was on a design team. Got sent to me with some other things. And used some embossing powder, which is super thick. Now with super thick, you're really supposed to heat it from underneath so the super thick doesn't blow away. But I guess I was just being thoughtless, or maybe I was being lazy, and I just started to heat it from the top, and most of it stayed because I had used Versamark, but I didn't really get a super great layer. So I pick it up and I dump it back into the embossing powder while it's still kind of warm. And some of it did stick. As you'll see right here. Ow! And then I heat it again. This is really the lazy way. But you can see that if you're tired or you're lazy and you just start messing with it, you can fix it. Because I think it came out great. Second layer. Still not happy with it. I want more of a glassy finish, so as it cooled, I decided to re-ink it with the Versamark. I want to make sure it's cool. Now I'm going to use the Versamark again, re-ink it on the Versamark pad, and dump some more of that thick embossing powder on it. There we go. Now this should be a good coating. Looks pretty good. And again, here I go. I'm going to do it from the top, not from the bottom. And you can see it blowing around in clumps. And it looks pretty cool. But because I never stop, I decided I wanted to make it look more glittery, like the glitter edges, and I added some glitter to the hot embossing powder, and then I heated it together. Well, I also blew it around because the glitter was kind of clumpy. And I think it turned out cool. There it is. What do you think? I think it's fabulous.